Sometimes passwords are not enough to protect your data while you're online. Hackers can and have breached many websites and stolen data from millions of people. However, some websites and services use two-factor authentication to protect your data online. What you may not know, however, is that there are two main methods to use two-factor authentication. One is more secure than the other. This is the Digital Prepper, and today we're going to go over two types of two-factor authentication and why you should use it. So what is two-factor authentication? Well, to put it simply, two-factor authentication is a method of establishing a connection to an online account or a computer itself using two different types of information. Normally, when you log into a site like Netflix, for example, you enter in your password. Using two-factor authentication, you would be logging in normally with your password, which is one form of authentication, but then you would be sent a code or another form of authentication to your email address or to your mobile device to enter into the website in order to log in. The idea of this is simple. The website that you're trying to access is comparing your first form of identification, in this case your password, to one of three different things. They are grouped in three categories, which are something you have. This could be something like your phone or even a specialized USB device that generates a code for you. Something you are. This is more talking about biometrics, such as a fingerprint or a iris scan. And somewhere you are, meaning using your location. We're only going to be talking about the various ways that you would use your phone for two-factor authentication and the pros and cons of these. So let's get started. Ignoring using email for two-factor authentication, which I would advise against, as it is one of the more weaker methods to use due to email being pretty exploitable. The two methods we will be going over are receiving a text message on your mobile device and using a Authenticator application that is installed onto your mobile device. So let's talk about text messages. Text messages, or SMS, were one of the first ways to use two-factor authentication by using a one-time password that is sent to your mobile device. It is easy to use due to the ubiquitous nature of mobile devices, but now is one of the worst ways to use two-factor authentication. Unfortunately, some websites may not use two-factor authentication, or they might not offer any other way to use two-factor authentication except for text messages or email. So do be careful with what kinds of data you have on those sites. The cons of using text messages for two-factor authentication are, well, first, it's easy to sneak a peek at passwords sent by your SMS, especially if lock screen notifications are enabled. Next, even if notifications are turned off, a SIM card can be removed and installed into another smartphone, giving access to SMS messages with passwords. Finally, there are viruses that can be placed in a mobile device that could give a third party access to your data. Overall, SMS one-time passwords are not secure, and you really should avoid using these if possible. Now let's talk about Authenticator applications. Authenticator applications such as Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, and Authy are used as a more secure way to use two-factor authentication. These applications work by installing them on your mobile device and linking them with the service of your choosing. It then randomly generates a one-time code for you to enter into the service that changes about once every 30 seconds. Now, why is this more secure than SMS? Well, the main reason is that it is more difficult for a hacker to gain physical access to your mobile device and then generate a code without you knowing about it. With SMS, hackers can get a hold of a new SIM card with your phone number from a mobile phone store with various tactics, and then your SMS messages will then go to that SIM card, and your phone will be disconnected from the network. Another benefit to the Authenticator Applications is that the codes expire quickly. So after 30 seconds, it'll generate a new passcode, making it less likely that someone will be able to take that code and use it. So now that you understand two-factor authentication a little bit more, and the differences between two methods of using two-factor authentication, let's talk about some differences between the applications themselves. There are 3 popular Authenticator applications that we're going to talk about, and I'll discuss the differences between the 3 and which one I personally use. The first one we have is the Google Authenticator, which is one of the more basic applications out there. This is the one I normally use, just because, like most people, I have a Google account, so it's a little bit more easier to access. However, if you're looking for something with more features, this is not the application for you. Adding accounts is simple, and it allows for scanning of QR codes or entering a code to link with the service. However, there is no support for multiple devices or for cloud syncing, so do keep that in mind. The Microsoft Authenticator is also simple to use like the Google one. However, unlike the Google Authenticator, it does support more features like cloud backups. So you can be able to sign in into a new device if you lose access to your current one. It also has the ability to secure your application with the same security that your phone has in place, like if you use a PIN or your fingerprint to unlock your phone. Finally, we do have Authy. It is seen as the gold standard to Authenticator applications, and it works with a lot of different accounts. It does have all of the features of the previous 2, as well as a kind of cool looking aesthetic view. Overall, two-factor authentication is a great way to secure your accounts. That being said, even the authentication applications are not 100% secure, but they are the current gold standard to keeping your data secure. Do take a look at our other videos if you would like to see more information on keeping your data secure. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you learned something, and if you have any digital prepping questions that you would like addressed in a future video, comment down below. More digital prepping to come.